hand over to Rory Bone, who's talking on exploring a very early stage concept. So Rory, I'll hand over to you to dig into that a little bit deeper.
Thank you, Dan. And just what great 3 presentations we've had already. I'll just share these slides quickly. Can everybody see that?
Yep, it's good.
Yep. Okay, so I'm going to give you a bit of an overview of who 4SB are, so why we exist, kind of what we're doing currently, and then what we plan to do. And it's founded by myself and my partner Connor, and we're supported by the Michelin Scotland Innovation Park, which we're very, very fortunate to be a part of. So when I show you this image, and you're a group that probably don't need to hear this. You know this already, but this is the idea currently, the public perception of electric cars. It's quite affluent individuals who have access to overnight charging. They're able to charge overnight and maybe have a higher end car. The reality looks slightly different right now. Where we currently sit, there's a lot of roadside parking. This is in the middle of Glasgow. This is a large sort of parking area for residents. And this is an example of a street in Oxford in a really affluent area with a brand new Volkswagen ID4, which is fully electric. And the owners still don't have access to overnight charging. It's parked roadside with no garage or driveway. So this is a little bit of the problem we're trying to solve from the end user point of view, is the access to charging. And moving on to the solution, it's a great solution. Okay, so battery swapping. Yeah, it sounds great. Yeah. Okay, so Tesla tried it in 2013, which is, they kind of covered up quite well. There wasn't great success, and doing a lot of research and digging around, basically found out that it was down to Tesla owners are quite, like we said, affluent, high income individuals. And they weren't that keen on swapping out the brand new battery in their 100 grand car first time for a second hand one, as soon as they want to recharge it. So it kind of, it didn't work at all. They tried it in California, they quickly got rid of it. Better Place is another good example. But well, interesting example. Startup in Israel that raised £1 billion, and then nowadays you can see these abandoned swap stations. Digging around with that, they only really had one partner on board. It was Renault. They couldn't really get others to sign up to their standardized battery model, and they didn't really have state backing either, which led to kind of infrastructure problems. But nowadays we've got NIO, who are a Chinese company, and they're really going at it quite quickly. They're state backed by the CCP, so that can cover their losses, and they're expanding to Europe quite rapidly. They've already installed 2 swapping stations in Norway, and what they do is they swap the entire battery at the base of the car. They've got a standard battery pack, and they've got a line of cars that it's applicable with. But actually, in the West, this quote from Professor Kohler at Mercedes sums up quite well. Car manufacturers share the same opinion. No one's interested in having a one-size-fits-all on the battery side. And I actually think, personally, I think that's quite important in terms of the industry as well. It sort of homogenizes car design. It constrains innovation. And ultimately, this is an industry that's been built on personalization and customization and preferences. And you buy a car because of its unique, you're able to customize it to fit your needs. So these are the challenges: charging anxiety, queue anxiety, homeowners not being able to charge their cars quickly or overnight or whatever, alongside private car ownership. You know, people live their lives, they strap a surfboard on the roof, they go surfing for the weekend, they need 90 to 100 miles quite quickly for a weekend trip, whatever. People keep things in their car. You don't really want to move to shared mobility. Getting your first car is the best day of your life. You want to retain that private car ownership. And then for EV makers, the challenge is really, if you go to swappable batteries, it constrains innovation, standardization, etc. So what if we were able to keep battery design different, unique to each car, but actually just have a standard port for an attachable battery that could be swapped in and out, and really meet the end user needs of around 80 to 100 miles in a 2-minute swap? And that is 4SB, that's our solution. And we went out and canvassed a lot of users, like a lot of private EV owners, and about 2/3 of lower middle income individuals are either open or slightly open to the idea of shared EV batteries. If you've got a second-hand 15 grand electric car, which most of us will have in hopefully 10 years, you're not going to mind too much about swapping a section of the battery, or maybe even the whole battery. So this is 4SB, and yeah, like we said, we're an attachable secondary battery. This is our idea. We're quite early stage, but I'll just show you some overviews of what we're trying to do here. So you've got your dedicated slot for our battery pack. It can be applicable for many different ranges of vehicles. It's about 1/6 of the size of a standard battery pack. It doesn't really affect the actual mechanics of the car because it's quite lightweight. Used for public service vehicles as well. There's a lot of potential for this. So as you can see, you'll have your electric car or electric vehicle with some kind of attachment. You'll have your 4SB battery pack and interface, and we'll have our swap station, a network of swap stations set up. And what will we, as 4SB, the company, offer? What will we do? So we've got requirements, and we're trying to make these requirements as simple and specific and straightforward for EV manufacturers as possible. And we'll help them integrate these requirements into their model lines if they'd like to adopt the 4SB model. The key here is really to really minimize standardization, to really not constrain vehicle designers or battery designers. We'll build our own battery packs. We're in the process of designing and building those. And we're hoping to set up a community, a collaboration to help create this infrastructure of swap stations. So quite a tall order, but we're giving it a go. Now our design, like I said, is about 90 to 115 miles and about a 90 to 100 kilogram pack, which right now is not completely possible, but when we're looking at the technology and the battery advancements over the next kind of 2-3 years, that's the numbers we'd like to get to. Our stations hold 14 units and are roughly about 2 cars lengths, and the stations can be above or below ground. And they've got, each pack has a recharge time of about 15 to 18 minutes, and then a 2-minute swap time. So you really don't need a high number of these packs to get the sort of turnovers to swap into cars in a 2-minute swap. So right now, like I said, we're very grateful to be part of the MSIP Accelerator program. So I'm going through this process, a business partner. We're doing a lot of financial modeling, marketing strategy, value propositions, building that network, and kind of moving the business into an investor-ready position. So alongside the teaching and the accelerator that we get on MSIP, we also get the facilities. And we're planning and building the prototype, with phase 1 starting in January, so in about 3 months. It's going to be a 3-phase build. We're hoping to really contribute to the local skills and industry, especially in Dundee and in the MSIP. Make use of all the communal resources and definitely try and collaborate with other MSIP companies as well. And for me personally, I'm really focused on local economy in Scotland. And if we can live in a country where we can get a renewable energy, put it into our cars, be kind of leaders in innovation, and we can retain private car ownership as well in a sustainable way, and keep that independence that a car allows a family or an individual, that is really where I'd like to head. So how can you help? First, just critique this, give me advice, talk to me, tear it apart, ask me anything. That really helps. We're also trying to raise money for a prototype and collaborative partners. So any help there or any ideas or pointers in the right direction, by all means, please just reach out and join the network. Just connect, scan the QR code, add me on LinkedIn, talk to me, say hi, please. And yeah, that's the business in a nutshell. So thank you very much for listening.